Okay, we've gone live. Good welcome, everyone. I'm pleased to welcome you all to our event tonight, the 661st Ovale, 18th virtual event, so it is, and won't be the last virtual event, but hopefully in a couple of months' time we'll be able to move on to hybrid events. That's our idea anyway, so more on that. Watch this space. Tonight we have a special event, as most of you know. We're celebrating the 13th year of exchanges between Cork and Coventry, twin cities. They've been twins since 1958, I believe so. It was Cork's first twin city, and I think it happened because Coventry was the first city to create roundabouts that actually were successful, and so the Cork Council sent over a number of its engineers to go and study these roundabouts. And in the process of that, they built up some very good relationships. And of course, Coventry already has a very strong Irish community, so a lot of those links would have pre-existed. And in the process of that, we became twin cities. So it's really fantastic that we can continue to carry the banner for that. We've had some incredible exchanges over the past number of years, but we're going to talk a little bit more about that a little later on. We're going to have about 12 or 13 of the poets in the book reading tonight, and there will be then a second launch, which will happen next week in Coventry online, and a further 14 poets will be reading from the book at that launch. So we're really quite excited about this. The Lord Mayor will be joining us in about 40 minutes or so, and he'll probably launch the book officially, and then we'll be able to listen to our readers. But aside from all that, it's a fairly usual, business as usual Ovale night in its three parts, at least three parts in the virtual edition. When we get back into the Long Valley, we will precursor all this with our usual poetry films. You know, we usually show 45 minutes or an hour poetry films first, and we'll be able to continue with that. And in the hybrid mode, hopefully be able to broadcast those online at the same time. Okay, so for those of you who haven't been here before, and I don't think there are any, it's a three-part evening, so you're all aware, but for the sake of our guests who are watching us via Vimeo and Facebook and YouTube and through our website, the evening has three parts at the moment. We start with the 5-word challenge, which will begin shortly. Then we will be able to listen to the readers from the poets in the book who are going to read their contributions, and after that we'll have the usual open mic. So we will ask for names for the open mic just before the open mic, so you know you don't need to sign up beforehand, and we'll let pretty much everyone who's here who wants to read in the open mic can do so. But for now, we're going to start with the 5-word challenge. And as you know, as most of you know, how that works is that we ask you, the audience, to provide 5 random words. And we all take the first 5 words. Here they come: intimacy, tofu, and ho we've got already. And I will put them back. I'll put them into the box shortly just to confirm. Release and beer can. Okay, beer can. We're going to take beer can as a single word. Ray, why not? Beer can.
Just came into my head, and we were talking about the pub earlier, and you know, it's literally what I've been drinking out of for the last while. So not right now. It just I suppose a piece of technology that's dear to my heart.
Okay, thanks, Ray. We'll accept beer can, even though it's officially 2 words squashed into one. But you know, we're all into neologisms here as well, being poets. So beer can is very welcome. So you'll now have about 15 minutes to put together a piece of writing, as you know, including all 5 of these words: intimacy, tofu, hoe, release, and beer can. And after 15 minutes, we'll ask you, those who want to read your contributions. And the winner then will receive a copy of Twin Skies, this book that we're launching this evening, as well as a copy of our usual 5 words anthology. That's not working. There we go. Kind of 5 words anthology. So you'll get 2 books. And yeah, best of luck. See you in about 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, is it release, intimacy, tofu, beer can, and what's the 5th one?
Hoe, Hoe.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, everyone. Sorry to disturb the deep meditation that I can see going on with all your fantastic 5-word poems. But someone has to be the culprit, and tonight that's me. So, but I'm really looking forward to hearing what we have on offer so far. Of course, for those of you who aren't quite finished, you can just keep on scribbling away for as long as we keep calling people up. So, for anyone who'd like to read and to be in with a chance of winning a copy of Twin Skies and the 5-word anthology, please can you pop in your name and 5 words into the chat box. Right, super. Okay, we've got plenty to start with. So, Andrea, we'll start with you if you're ready. The stage is yours.
Okay. It's called Crystals in the Joints. My toe full of gout, I release the beer can. Tofu, kung pao, wow, beery food. My toe full of gout, I hug the hoe, trip on the rake. Ow, for feathers' sake. All the leaves leave on a stiff breeze as if the afternoon had never happened. My toe full of gout, I trip on curbs. I try to curb the swears. I swear off meat. I'm intimate with agony. Please, doctor, sort me out.
Nice one. Thank you, Andrea. So remember to keep in mind your favorite poem because we'll be voting a bit later on to see who is the winner. Okay, so next up we have Jim Prickard. Hey, Jim.
Hi, so nice to be here. Hi, guys. So this poem is called The Naked Mind. Blonder brow, Dutch gold, Carpacci, the wind chime tinkle of glass bottles, sunsets trickling through my body, the hollow clang of beer cans, dim morning light spilling through. I've turned my back on Biggie Smalls who shot ya. Now I'm a sober hoe, popping bottles of kombucha. Waking up to scrambled tofu and bacon. Released into the uncharted lands of intimacy, seeing only with this naked mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Next up, we have Jeff Cottrell.
All right. They told me, yeah, I'm here. They told me of a brand of tofu beer, and soon the liquor stores would sell it here. The taste was nothing special, so they said, but everyone should bring a beer can to bed because it was a boon to intimacy. Viagra couldn't hold a candle, you see. With every drop, a man got great release, and every hoe would willingly cut her fees. A case, they said, of Johnny's tofu ale will see to it that no more marriages fail. That's as far as that got.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks, Jeff. Next up, we have Massimo.
All right. Thanks for having me again. Always great to be here. All right. If you aren't in love with yourself, then substituting tofu for meat is no healthier than drinking out of a beer can. Whether you gently sprinkle water over the earth or break it roughly with the hoe, what makes either action good or bad is based on the seed you sow and what and where you seek to grow. Even the word intimacy implies separateness, but the relationship with oneself is too close for even the sense of connectedness. But time is up, so this poem must be released as it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Massimo. And next up, we have Julie.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Okay, great. Internet connection's not brilliant, so I might turn off my camera and see how it goes. Distracted. You are vegan. You say you like tofu. You are a liar. Nobody likes tofu. The dinner party is distracted by a lunatic moth battering about the kitchen. You stand to save it, to release it. You are vegan. You even set aside your beer can. I slide open the patio door for you and the moth you cradle, impressed at how you pirouette around the hoe, confused by the intimacy you display to the uninvited guest. You invited me. I await your attention.
Thanks, Julie. And next up, we have Susanna.
The lovers experience intimacy within the windy cycles up and down Salux. And the beer can never drunk by the marina. One laugh under the moustache, and the second smiles with a closed mouth. Her breath smells of garlic marinated tofu. Blah! A departure is imminent, like a hoe separating the two rich parts of a barley field. Now to be divided from the grass, and later to nest the yield. The goodbye was a release of petals and pollen hands and bees in the interstices of the skin. Thank you.
Thanks, Susanna. And next up, we have Michael. Hey, Michael.
Hi there. I look at the sky fermenting like aged tofu, how it rolls away as my beer can leaves for the sea. It gives me a sense of release to know you are far away in your garden, turning the earth, working your hoe, moving the blade with an intimacy only you can do.
Thank you, Michael. And next up, we have Janet. Hi, Janet.
Hi, sorry, not very slick with the unmuting there. Okay, it's pretty short. The enclosed garden, always intimate, now overgrown to claustrophobia, poorly sickled, resistant to the hoe. To release the hoe, she thought, and wrestle with a tofu-coloured beer can. That is real intimacy. Tss, sigh. Short, told you.
Superb. Thank you. Thanks, Janet. Great to hear from you. And next up, we have Sue Blue, Rosalind Blue.
Thanks very much. All right. Seasoned. The tofu diced remains on board, a beer can fallen over. We've stormed upstairs, seeking mutual release in our intimacy undisturbed. Over the years, we have hoed our spaces from the days, have crafted our love from the minutes we could spare. We now have become a gnarled old oak, sculpted from the layers of our love, like rings of skin grown into one tree, where our tenderness is always undisturbed. That's it.
Super. Thank you, Sue. And next up, Ray Hanran. You there, Ray?
Yep. Okay, this is, I suppose, an imaginative poem of mine called The Shed Out Back. It's imaginative because I don't have a shed out back. I'd like to have a shed out back, but I don't. The Shed Out Back. My apartment was lacking in room due to my 21st century lifestyle and the multiplicity of gadgets to live the life of contemporary custom. So to solve this conundrum, I built a shed out back. It's of rude enough construction, owing to the sparseness of my budget. It's the store of many a thing, domestic fridge, garden tools, where the hoe and my ancient tapes collection can dwell together in intimacy. Its presence here releases space that permits me to entertain. That reminds me, I must head out to grab another beer can and a block of flavored tofu. I'm having friends over.
Thank you, Ray. And next up, we have Cedric.
Can you hear me well? Can you hear me? Great, great. It doesn't have a title yet. I'd like my tofu fried, please. Tofu fried, very well. The server scribbles on his paper and immediately walks away. This bounty given on a slow evening is a release. The shift might end sooner. There are a couple of lovers on the floor, sown like seeds by an amateur, scarce and spaced out. This arrangement, however, allows for perceived intimacy, as the tables do not realize that the quiet atmosphere allows to eavesdrop on their conversations. The serving is done. The eating carries on. The waiters are ready to reap the orders. There are notepads for baskets, pens for holes. Nothing yet grows out, except for mundane personal conversations about divorces.
So I think we may have lost Cedric there. And if so, we give him an opportunity to read again, I think, if we get him back. Okay, so let's move on in the meantime. And Brian, are you ready?
I am ready.
Hi, please, you're very welcome.
He felt an uneasy sense of intimacy, rubbing tofu between the chicken and its skin, and he felt a sense of release after shoving the can full of cinnamon ale into the chicken's butt before roasting it in the oven. This crispy skinned tofu and cinnamon ale infused chicken with cumin and sesame seeds was a hit on YouTube and Garden Home, a TV cooking show. He was happy to retire his gardening hoe when he became a celebrity chef.
Thank you, Brian. And next up, we have Catherine Ronan.
I call this the gardener. He started work at the convent, laughing at the old nuns, jiving in their soft shoes, in yellow-fevered release. He thought of them as virgin ants, but they had made a habit of tofu. Play the film backwards, they said, to see more detail. 2 sugared intimacy instead of 1. 3 pills instead of none. A beer can on every nightstand. Playgirl behind every headboard. He saw the nuns differently now, especially on laundry day. Tongues hanging on the line, no questions asked, no secrets spoiled by the handsome gardener with his very, very, very long hoe.
Super. Thank you, Catherine. And next up, we have Matt. Are you ready, Matt? I think you're still.
Right, Paul. Yeah, we're right. More or less, if I can read my own writing, I'll be grand. Please release me, written in your heart. Intimacy is what you want, with friends and family, all of them in the door to you at the end of the longest day. Once upon a covert time, united. No more beer cans alone on the phone for company. Pour the drinks and share the tofu from the fridge. Toast each other and feel you are in an exotic land, the land of love, for as long as life allows. Here's to tofu and to fun travel. Let the drinks flow free at last. Shake yourself free from hoe and spade. You walked for weeks in your garden, tending garden plants who needed liberation in your lonely place of isolation.
Super. Thank you, Matt. And actually, we're going to go back to Cedric because we lost Cedric and he had to reconnect. So, Cedric, if you're ready, do you want to start that again?
Should I read it all back or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'd like my tofu fried, please. Tofu fried. Very well. The server scribbles on his paper and immediately walks away. This bounty given on a slow evening is a release. The shift might end sooner. There are a couple of lovers on the floor, sewn like seeds by an amateur, scarce and spaced out. This arrangement, however, allows for perceived intimacy, as the tables do not realize that the quiet atmosphere allows to eavesdrop on their conversations. The serving is done, the eating carries on. The waiters are ready to read the orders. There are notepads for baskets, pens for hoes. Nothing yet grows out, except for mundane personal conversations about divorces of neighbors and recent birth. Even vacations eventually come out. Note to be responded to preemptively. I'd like this brew. Maybe they will pour it in a beer can for me. All waiters raise their head, yet only one heads out to the table. A perfect synchronized movement, as if they share the hive mind. Another one walks to the door and flips the sign. Open. The harvest has ended. They will go home early.
Super. Thanks, Cedric. I'm glad we got you back. Okay, and next up, it's good to see Martin Brown. How are you, Martin?
Hi there, Paul. This one is inspired, if that's the right word, by our wonderful government's latest wheeze to have people in offenders in high-vis vests in chain gangs. So I've called it chain gang. Chopping tofu with a blunted hoe is no fair task for high-vis man. I beg release so I can go to seek intimacy with a full beer can.
Superb. Thank you, Martin. And next we have Benjamin Burns.
Hello. Okay. I am the dandelion and the hoe, tofu sizzling on the pan in sesame oil and lemon juice. I am the beer can, cracked open to release a hoverfly's rising vibration. I am the veg, prepped, chopped up for intimacy, hot bubbles on softening rice. I am the dandelion and the dandelion tea. I am the hoe and the hoe is me.
Thank you, Ben. I've got some questions about yeah, here we go. Julie said that she is there, turned off her camera, and she thinks that we got to hear all of her poem. So I think we're good on that front. Okay, thanks, Julie. Okay, next up for the 5-word challenge is Michelle.
Hi everyone. Here we go. Abandoned houses hide ghostly gardens. The reaching grip of wilderness eventually reclaims the hose handle to the ground. Intimacy in its woven hold. No release nor mercy. A beer can's thrown over in summer. Grows discolored. A peachy tofu pastel metal. Sinks and sinks into restless flowers. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. It looks like our penultimate reader for the 5-word challenge is about to come on, but we could always have late editions. Roshni, are you ready?
Thank you. Bad connection, so I'll leave my camera off. Dig. Looking for intimacy with a hoe is not enough. You need to uncover its clingy roots with something larger, sharper edged, sever them from their past attachments. You have to hold things in your head, like how he clung to that beer can ever so tightly, more attention given to it than you. Now release that image and replace it with the memory of him swallowing unchewed tofu, sliding down his gullet past his Adam's apple like clubbers squeezing past each other on a crowded dance floor. Dig, you need to dig deeper than that. Sorry, that was really badly read. Thank you.
Thank you, Roshni. And our last reader for the 5-word challenge, and I think the Lord Mayor might be popping in any second, but that's okay. We're looking forward to this. Mags Creedon. Are you there, Max?
Yeah, can you hear me? Because I have a bad connection.
Oh,
okay, I got in. I was trying to work out the 5 words from your poem, so I've done something anyway. Intimacy. In time, I see the evergreen, the ingram, the beer can sculpture, the 10 edifice of warped rules for the keyword, the key to my own contextual words, to release the scent of garden, the forget-me-nots, the dots to join, memories to fit in with tonight's rhyme. And I feel like tofu, trying to fool the Gaelic palate into thinking we are cosmopolitan, into thinking we can hold down to hide our own nurture, to expose urban futures. We are cycled and recycled. We are spirals and latticework and lozenges. Our past is carved in stone. When science was the place of the sun and the moon, Ptolemy mapped us before GPS, globally reposition us back in our own system and reclaim intimacy, for that is the secret to unlock. It can match it. Okay.
Super. Thank you, Mags. Thank you very much for that. You don't have a great connection, so we might have missed a few words there, but I think we got a good sense of the poem. So thank you.
Yeah.
And the Lord Mayor, how about that? Has just arrived just as you finished your poem. That is just crazy. So let's just see where we are.
Hello.
Hello, Lord Mayor. Welcome.
How are you keeping? My apologies. I had a few technical difficulties.
No problem whatsoever. We were busy with the 5-word poetry challenge to begin with. So you arrived just at the end of it. So what's going to happen now is that our participating audience are going to vote on the winner of the 5-word challenge, and then the winner is going to read their poem again. So if you'll bear with us, we'll sort of resume the introduction part of the evening after that, if that's okay. It's good to see you, and we're very welcome.
Excellent.
All right. Okay, everyone. So hopefully you have your winner decided. If you could pop into the chat box winner and the person's name, and then I will count those up. Might take me a few minutes because there's so many of us today. And then I have to pop onto the Facebook page as well to see if we have any votes from that side. All right. Okay. So just a couple of minutes. Okay. Okay. I think I have. I have all the votes from the Zoom meeting. I'm just going to pop quickly onto the. Just mute that. Onto the Facebook page and see if we have any votes there to add. Okay, well, it was very close. It was we had kind of Julie and Cedric and Catherine all up there vying, but who just tipped it by one vote is Jim Crickard. So congratulations, Jim. You're the winner of tonight's 5-word challenge. So if you don't mind, we would love to hear you read your poem again.
Thanks, guys. I'm smitten with that. So it was called The Naked Mind. Blonder brow, Dutch gold, Carpacci, the wind chime tinkle of glass bottles, sunsets trickling through my body, the hollow clang of beer cans, dim morning light spilling through. I've turned my back on Biggie Smalls who shot ya. Now I'm a sober hoe, popping bottles of kombucha, waking to scrambled tofu and fakin', released into the uncharted lands of intimacy, and only with this naked mind. Thank you.
Well done.
Excellent. Thank you, Jim. Congratulations. The books will be sent off to you tomorrow. And yeah, we had 19 people, so stiff competition. So that says a lot. So congratulations on that. All right, so we're going to move towards the second part of the evening now. I just want to quickly again welcome the Lord Mayor. Hello, Lord Mayor.
Hello.
Councillor Colm Kelleher here this evening with us.
My apologies, I was a bit late. I had a few technical difficulties. I spoke with a few of you this morning. Obviously, I was in more, I suppose, elaborate setting. I'm at home now. It's obviously late in the evening, so I didn't decide to wait in City Hall until now. But Jim, may I say your poem there? I didn't see the start of it, but my God, it reminded me of my youth, referencing Biggie Smalls and Tupac, and yeah, fair play to you. Well done.
Okay, thank you, Lord Mayor. I'll tell you, we just have a few announcements now, and then what I'll do is just before we start introducing our readers, I might ask you to say a few words about the connection with Coventry and perhaps to officially launch the book, if that's okay with you. All right, super. Okay, so I'm going to be pasting these announcements also into the chat box as well as into our Facebook page so that our listeners online can also get these links. So if you'll bear with me, I've got a few different buttons to press at the same time. So that's the first announcement there. Our 9th 5 Words International Poetry Competition continues. This year's judge is Maurice Reardon, an absolutely fantastic poet. And I'd look him up if you don't know his work, Cork poet. For submission details, you can visit our website, and the 5 words for the next week, you have a week to write poems for the international competition, are film, mirror, crisp, twin, and wind. And all the details about that are on the website. We still have a few weeks left for entries to the 9th Ovale International Poetry Film Competition. Let me just post that there into the box. So the link is there, or you can find that quite easily via our website as well. 31st of August being the deadline for that. Last year we had entries from 49 countries. I think people quickly got down to making poetry films when they were stuck at home, you know. So I don't think we'll get as many entries this year as things are opening up, but it's great to see that the genre is kind of burgeoning in this way. Poetry films, of course, being film interpretations of poems, but they actually contain the entire poem as the core of the film. So tonight, as you know, we're launching Twin Skies, which is a combination of 13, 14 years really of poetry exchanges between Cork and Coventry. So there is a physical book, and most of the poets who are in the book should have their copy already. But there is a digital online copy, and I've just posted the link to that. So for any of you who'd like to access the book, it's free online. You're very welcome to do that. And if you'd like to purchase a physical copy of the book, you can actually take a look at our publications page on our website for more information about that. I should say that Ovale, as a disclaimer, aims to maintain a safe space for writers and the general public. And while we discourage self-censorship, we do expect participants to be sensitive to refrain from any offensive or discriminatory language, including that relating to race, gender, religion, cultural backgrounds, etc., in line with the Arts Council's equality, human rights, and diversity policy, or from any phrasing that may be hurtful towards marginalized minority groups, in fact, any hurtful phrasing at all. The private chat mode is available for all participants to use during the event. So we just ask that you please be respectful when communicating via these channels, and should there be any instances of offense or online abuse, and touch wood, we haven't had any to date, but please report that to us either through the chat or to info@ovale.ie. The open mic session will also be available to revisit, as will this whole evening, on our Vimeo page, as well as on our YouTube and Facebook pages. Those videos will be available to you. Our guest poets for the 13th of September, our next regular event on the 13th of September, is a bilingual Irish language poetry evening, and they are Colette Nick Hay and Colm Brenach. And I'll just post that information in there. And whoops. Technically challenged today. And our guest poets, we, of course, every September have an additional Ovale event for Culture Night, Cork Culture Night, which this year is on Friday the 17th of September. And our two guest poets for that are two spoken word artists, Elizabeth McGowan from Northern Ireland and Jenny Lindsay from Scotland. So that should be a fantastic evening, and hope you'll be able to join us for that. Let me just get further down here. My apologies. I keep getting direct message, so I have to keep on changing this back to everyone rather than the person who's been trying to message me. So my apologies for not being able to do all these things at the same time. There is the guest poet at Lime Square Poets. Of course, some of you know this already. This week's Lime Square Poets online at 8:30 p.m. this Thursday, the 12th, is our very own Catherine Ronan, who's here with us this evening. Congratulations, Catherine. And we're looking forward to your reading on Thursday. And I think the last of these announcements is just to thank everyone who has kindly offered donations over particularly over this period and this online period. PayPal donations can be made via a link above our live poetry stage on our website, or via our contact page. And I have put the link for that into the chat box there. I'm unable to do that on Facebook at the moment. Yes, there we go. It's on Facebook. All right. Okay. So that concludes the litany, the marathon of announcements. And so my apologies for making you listen to my voice for that duration of time. But right now, I would like to, just prior to introducing all the poets who are published in Twin Skies, of course, just to mention that the book is it's an amazing combination of really talented voices. And I've had the pleasure of meeting the vast majority of these poets, of course, over the past 13 odd years. It's just wonderful to be able to see them drawn all into the same place, and to be able to be reminded of their unique talents, and to see them all here. We don't have them all here. We've got almost half of the readers here tonight, and we'll have the other half, of course, on Thursday week at the Here Comes Everyone event, hosted by Rafe Boylan, who is co-hosting here with me tonight. So to officially launch the book, I'd like to officially welcome the Lord Mayor of Cork, Councillor Colm Kelleher.
Thank you very much, Ovale. And it was actually very interesting to listen to your voice. You have nothing to apologise about. For those who don't know me, my name is Colm Kelleher. I'm obviously we're here tonight to launch, the preliminary launch of the Twin Cities Poetry event here. Obviously via Zoom, because we can't do it in normal circumstances on account of the pandemic. But I met with some of the committee earlier today, and I took, which I think may actually be the first courtesy visit to the Lord Mayor's chambers virtually that was held. I may be open to correction on that. But
it's the second, actually.
It's the second. Okay, yeah. My apologies. It's the second virtual. It's first for me anyway. That's all I'll say. And it's very endearing. And I spoke of this this afternoon to see an event like this taking place, because I suppose from our perspective here in Cork, we're twinned with Cologne, we're twinned with Shanghai, we're twinned with San Francisco, and we're also twinned with Coventry. And the twinning with Coventry is one of the oldest. And more often than not, it's one that's actually forgotten. I'm a member of the International Committee on Cork City Council. Or I was before I became Lord Mayor, and I will after I leave office. But we spoke about it today in our virtual visit to the Lord Mayor's chambers. sometimes the close, I suppose, the proximity of Coventry and Cork, it's not very, I suppose, appealing to members of council or officials to go, oh, I'll get the boat over to Coventry now, or I'll get the plane over to Cork. We're very close in proximity, geographically speaking. So traditionally there may have been, I suppose, the onus to go, we go to Shanghai, or we go to San Francisco, stuff like that. And it was mentioned at a meeting of the International Committee of Cork City Council, when actually it was my inaugural meeting of the International Committee of Cork City Council, where they listed the cities we were twinned with. And it was referenced to me at that meeting that the twinning between Cork and Coventry was one that was inactive. So when I saw this coming up on my calendar this evening, I was absolutely delighted to see that, here we are, two very, similar sized second cities, and we're engaging with each other. And obviously tonight through the medium of poetry. So it's an absolute honour to speak to you this evening. I know that there's about 20 of you present, where there was 42 that were involved in the 42 poets who've taken part in the Cork Coventry Twin Cities Poetry Exchange since 2008. And I was informed this afternoon that when it was initially launched in 2008, that it was it was 50 years to the year since the twinning of Cork and Coventry. So that, I suppose, is proof of what I spoke about previously, of the long history of a link between our two cities. And it's something that I believe needs to be nurtured. We have we far more in similarity to each other than we do, I suppose, between the likes of Coventry and Shanghai and or Cork and San Francisco or stuff like that. So it's absolutely brilliant to see it. The copy of book will be available and will be printed, which you all have now. And I'd especially like to thank Paul Casey and Rafe Boylan, a good Cork name, I might add. Boylan, you may disagree with me, but there's a member of council by the name of Damien Boylan. He might be of a different political party, but he's actually all right, believe you me. He's a nice old fella, believe you me. But when I was presented with the book today, I suppose in my diary, every day I clock in the City Hall, the eternal Lord Mayor, as I call her, which is Nicola O'Sullivan, my secretary, she presents me with my diary for the day. And I was presented with this book of an image of Christy Ring, an iconic hurler in Cork, obviously, and Lady Godiva. And when I questioned the statue of the female on the horse, bare-breasted on the horse, and I was informed that it was Lady Godiva, the first thing that popped into my head was that song by Queen. And I was blown away with it, because often, I've often heard the name, but I never realised the relevance of it or where it actually came from. And I was educated today. My grandfather used to say to me every day is a school day, so I learned something new today. But no, look, I'd obviously, like to, I suppose, formally open it here, and I'd like to pay, special courtesy and privilege to Rafe Boylan, good Cork name, as I said, Adam Steiner, Anthony Owen, and John Morley, who have in turn been facilitating, this event since 2008. And obviously, Rafe, you're in attendance here tonight. You're obviously pivotal to it. But I'd ask all members this evening to give them all a round of applause, because without them, we wouldn't be here at all this evening, and you wouldn't be listening to the murmurs of a local elected representative. So look, this is the 12th year of the Poetry Exchange between Cork and Coventry. It was initiated by O'Vale in 2008. It could not go ahead, obviously. But I suppose in the grand scheme of things, we're here for one reason, and that's to celebrate the workings of 42 poets who have made their way into the book here this evening. And, I'm delighted to be here, and I'm delighted that we can have this collaboration between our two great cities, between Cork City and Coventry, which is the UK City of Culture this year, 2021. But I would just like to say one thing, and I spoke about it in the meeting earlier. There's two quotes at the start of the book. One's by William Shakespeare.
Whoops, I think we have lost the Lord Mayor. Is that the same for everyone else? It is, yeah. Okay. Well, we'll just give him a minute to reconnect, hopefully, because I know he's dying to tell us his story about the Janis Joplin quote in the book. I think. So we'll give him a sec there. Oh. Lord Mayor, can you hear us? No, he's gone, is he? He has, he'll be dialing back in now, I'd say, very shortly. So we'll just give him...
Can you hear me?
Yes, hello there. Hello, Lord Mayor.
My apologies, my internet just, I thought I was in full flow there, and I thought you were all being very, very quiet and listening to me. You know, I was obviously talking to a blank screen.
We lost you when you were mentioning the William Shakespeare quote.
Oh yes, yeah. So I was when I opened the book this evening, I got a C in Pass English in school. Poetry was not; it never ever tickled my fancy, if I'm to be honest with all of you. And I know I'm talking to a lot of poets here this evening, but there's two, I suppose, one-liners, one from William Shakespeare and one from Janis Joplin. And the one that really jumped out at me was Janis Joplin's one at the start of the book. I believe the only people who truly experience and test the application of equality are twins, which I found very amusing, if I'm quite honest. So without further ado, and I suppose without me losing internet connection or waffling on, trying to impress a load of poets, I see about 20 in front of my screen, I'd like to formally open and preliminarily launch the Twin Cities Poetry event via Zoom in 2021. And I hope, by the blessings of God, that we will not be facilitating this over a virtual platform in 12 months' time.
Agus gur milliúna mágat a hain ardera. Thank you very much indeed, Lord Mayor, for those excellent words. Superb to be able to contextualize our relationship, our ongoing relationship, which has gone from strength to strength. So we're moving on now to the exciting, if I may say, part of the evening where our poets are going to read their pieces from the collection. Actually, 40 of the 42 managed to get their poems in here, and we have about 12 or 13 of those, I think, here tonight. So we are going to keep it alphabetically as per first name as they appear in the book, just for the sake of simplicity. But when I call on you to read, you might just spend a couple of moments mentioning what year you were involved, if you remember, with whom you traveled, and any small memory that comes to mind from visiting your twin city. But of course, it's optional, so you can just read your poem if that's what you like to do.
If I may interrupt for a moment, please.
Yes.
I would like to extend to the Lord Mayor the greetings of the Mayor of South Euclid, Georgine Wheelo. I am her arts ambassador as well as her poet laureate.
I'm much obliged, and please send my blessings to her as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. Okay, if we're ready to blast off, our first reader this evening. It's great to see him again. I haven't seen him in ages. Ali Bracken.
Well, I'm the first. Okay. Yeah. So just to give to you mentioned, Paul, there about giving a few words on my experience with the exchange, and I did the exchange in 2018 with Michelle DeLay, who's also here, I noticed, with us tonight, and we had a really great time. I thought if I can remember any particular memory, it doesn't actually involve any poetry, but we went on quite a long walk one night around Coventry, and it was really nice and enjoyable. I don't know if Michelle remembers that, but we just chatted and walked around and got to see an awful lot of the city. So it was a really enjoyable time. But the poem that is included in this anthology is called The Bridge of St. Patrick. We walked on her for many years, three culverts of text unfolded. Her faces faced the dam-kissed waters like words of the oft-time read. She lay and watched the whole place burning and watched it grow all over again. Sure, she nearly drowned. All the lads up on the hill said they had her in their prayers. The men in yellow vests came one day at a time. They took her down. Matthew said he saw her being put together again. They stopped one day. A ship rose from the deep stench of the lee. Brown waters drenched and tickled the reflecting light. It cut little rapids on the tall ship's wooden body, trying to get back to its brown-green home. Not one Corkonian believed Matthew when he said he was sure he won a glimpse of its name. Just a cod, they thought. No wonder they undid the knot of the bridge, to allow room for herself through, they thought. She said he said the name, something along the lines of Theseus, and they laughed. Sure, no wonder we love you, Matthew. They said he was a rogue just like Mr. O'Connor. He's got more stories than sense. Sure, did he say once the smell of McCurtain Street was better than sex? All phrases found it that. Of course, he'd say that. He's got no taste. So that was the day they closed Patrick's Bridge. If you stand on our midpoint, look up at Shandon, or gaze down towards Brian Brew, you know you're at the centre of the universe, and everything beyond is just a rumour. Of course you do. You're from Cork, born and raised arrogant. The day they opened her up again, I didn't recognise her, Jimmy, and I wondered why she had a man's name. Thank you.
Fabulous, Addy. Thank you so much for that. I can just picture myself on Patrick's Bridge right now. Although I never remember McCurtain Street smelling better than sex. Sorry, I had to put that in there, but thank you. It was a great line. All right, superb. All right, we're ready for our second reader, and that is Andrea Mbarashimana.
Hi, everyone. I was born in 2017, and the guy that I came into court with was Russell Berry. And unfortunately, he was not in the book. I don't think you could get hold of him. And we swapped with Kieran and Zach. And I just got out of hospital, so it was really weird. And everyone just took such good care of me. And I guess my standout memory was watching everyone else go skinny dipping in the sea. It was a laugh, but anyway. This poem is called Gisozi. Yesterday's heron shrieked the end of sleep, right through my skull. All spiny barbs waiting to soften into feathers. A house girl making breakfast. Noses blow dust, taste tanged with eucalyptus. We count mosquito bites, eat bread that's toasted on the plate while we wait. The fizz of welding across the street is stopped. Strange birds hide in the copse where the brickman stacks his bricks, among trees that count their lifespan in dawn choruses. A tiny lizard escapes from my daughter's shoe, and rhythmic church song hypnotizes a congregation down the street. We rise through air like soup using the shortcut. There's a breeze up here that bends the trees to gossip. Down across the waste ground, turn right, past the Battle of the Bandwidths, past the data shack, the track stops. Chez Venant, a mansion built on helping couples with their sex lives. When we get back from the bar, brochettes and consequences, he's still making bricks, throwing the clay, patting it into the same mold, stacking them up. Later, when it rains, the whole tower vanishes.
Superb stuff. Thanks so much, Andrea. It's a gorgeous poem. It's mesmeric, and you read it so beautifully. Thank you very much for that, and it's great to see you again. Yeah, I don't remember you skinny dipping, definitely.
I wasn't allowed. Doctor's orders.
Do I remember a couple of Bangardi on the beach complaining about the Vanguard here? A Vanguard here is a female police officer.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that what happened?
I don't remember that. You must have been skinny dipping a few times before. That was another time.
I might be mixing it up. Anyway, thanks for the memory, Andrea. Okay, next we have our from Cork, Benjamin Burns. No, do we have Isar Gassan? We do. Sorry, Ben, I have jumped the gun. I didn't see Isar join, but I see that he's here. Are you here, Isar?
Yeah. Hi everybody. How are you?
Hi. Good to see you. How are you?
Oh, good to see you too. First time we've met. I mean, we've obviously swapped a lot of emails and that kind of thing, but first time we've met. So lovely to see you, and lovely to see everybody else too.
Likewise.
I was lucky enough to go on the exchange with Rafe in 2019. So I guess it was the last time it was face-to-face exchange, but probably hopefully not the last time ever face-to-face exchange. And my memories of Cork and Clonakilty it was a really wonderful time, and it was lovely to obviously meet. Well, it was the second time, I think, second or third time I met Stan, because he'd been over a couple of years before on the exchange. The second time I met Stan, and obviously meeting Ben and Shauna, and it was a really lovely time. So it was lovely. It was just a great thing to be able to do, and the weather was pretty good, and I especially enjoyed going to Clonakilty. It was a beautiful, beautiful place. So I hope we will get a chance to come and see you guys again. I think Andrea was trying to organise some kind of bigger visit before, for us all before the pandemic hit. So hopefully, all being well, next time, next summer, we can come see you. That'd be lovely. And thanks for kind of getting the anthology together, and for it's great. Thank you. I've got to try. I've got it out here, but my laptop is sort of slightly disorganized, which is unlike me. But I'm going to do the poem, read the poem that's in the anthology, and it's called "In Plain Sight." Okay. The supermarket with which I have earned most loyalty points is sincerely committed to reducing its reliance on plastic packaging, sources locally where possible, limits the import of food from overseas on fuel-guzzling airplanes, preferring to use more sustainable road or rail, provides easy-to-follow practical tips on how to minimize waste, celebrates accreditation from a host of internationally respected not-for-profits with swirly come together over me logos, has a dozen or so 7-foot tall, mile-long refrigerators, none of which have doors, keeping meat, fruit, dairy, sushi, veg, and ready meals perfectly chilled, 24/7, 365, in hundreds of its largest stores nationwide. Thank you.
Superb. Thank you. Thanks, Cesar. And yes, great to meet you face to face. Hopefully we'll be able to remedy, all that before too long, and we'll be able to physically see you face to face before too long.
Thank you. And thank you for hosting the evening tonight.
Thanks, Cesar. Thank you. Okay, so we now move on to Benjamin Burns. Are you ready, Ben?
Hi, hello. I went to Coventry in 2019 as well with Shauna, and we had a wonderful time and got lovely tours of the city with Isar and with Rafe, and just had nice relaxed drinks and walked around looking at the art galleries, and it was really nice. When I was in Coventry, I was performing as my pop star character. So this In the book is a small pop star poem that I wrote around the time. It's called Fortune. Famous when dead, that's the dream. How sad to waste one's life on self-promotion. And if fame never comes, who cares? You're dead. There will be Robins and their descendants. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Thanks. Great to see your alter ego come out again. Haven't seen him in a while. Brilliant stuff. Maybe the shortest poem in the book. I think it is. How bad. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to. It should be Kieran, but Kieran's not in the house yet. I know he needs to read late, so we'll skip Kieran for now and move on to.
I'm actually here, Paul. If you want me to read.
Oh, you're there, Kieran.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Made it back to the house.
Good stuff. Yeah, please take over. You're very welcome.
Right on. Yeah, I was out playing football, but I made it back. So great to see you all. Yeah, I went over to Coventry with Stan Knott in 2017, and it was Andrea and Russ and Rafe and all the team were looking after us, and yeah, we had a great time. It was really, really nice. It was a really special time. Very fond memories had over there. It was really fun when Andrea and Ross came to Cork. We had a really nice time, and then I just remember going to Coventry and just really enjoying the whole weekend and having a lot of really rich experiences. Found out a lot about the city that I had no idea of before I got there and things like that. And yeah, we had a really nourishing time and a really warm welcome, so it was a real treat. I think the standout memory was meeting the Lord Mayor at the time. It was Tony Skipper, absolute legend. Yeah, just had very, very, very funny chat with him. And yeah, we were kind of laughing about it for a long time afterwards. So yeah, it's got to be one of the standout memories, but there were many memories, and it's a real honor to be published in this book next to you all, and a lot of great writers in it, and I'm having a real fun time making my way reading through it. So now I'm getting some live performances of it as well. So yeah, big ups to you all. And yeah, this is my contribution to the collection, to the anthology. It's called Circumspect. Go get your 4 hours in a shower and come talk to me about burning candles, depressed handles and creaking gates. It's basic, but it's complete in its own way. Let's face it, it's a feat how the shoe prints on paths play. No intention to deceive, just wanting to receive a clean image of what your thoughts say. Might text you back by Monday. I've had a slow Sunday. Hope to explain it to you one day. Come talk to me about Feng Shui. We might connect. Flexing on your inward breath. Stay cool and calm and circumspect. When fools and shams come floundering. Listen in above the din, the pools in gaps are widening. The rules of math sound silly when the chosen paths are narrowing. Listen, the Pope's gone tarrowing. We have no answer to your sparrowing. We make the inside of a hollow ring for our faith in superstition, dropping subtle propositions. Here, hear me out, chicken. You'll have what you always want when you always have. Sounds so sad now, seeing you like this. Ought make me feel bad now. You always lived it, breathed it, dissected it to pieces, as rich in a fair deal dealt as Croesus in gold. In sickness and in health, we are growing old. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Take care of yourselves.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thanks a million, Kieran. We're certainly growing old. I keep on telling everyone the story of when you first came into Avail.
Yeah, good. Yeah, not today or yesterday now, Paul.
Not today. Am I not allowed to say it? Am I not?
Say, tell the story as long as you like, but I was saying it's not today or yesterday that I first stepped into a veil.
Very long time ago now, a very long time. When Kieran first came into a veil, he was 17 years of age. So we didn't know this, of course, and we're a functioning bar. He's not supposed to be in there unless he's 18, And he was in there really enjoying himself, And next thing, the barman asked him, would he like something to drink? And he just panicked and ran away. We didn't see him again until his 18th birthday, but he hasn't stopped coming since. So that's one of my favorite Ovale stories. Yep, we're definitely growing older together, Kieran. It's great to have you. Thanks for the poem. All right, okay, let's move swiftly on. Connor McManus, are you here?
Yeah, Paul.
Hey, Connor, how are you?
How's it going? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. You're very welcome.
Thank you. Congrats on the book. Great stuff. Looks well. I was in Coventry with Matthew Gedden, and I forget when. I think maybe 2013 or 2014 or something. Brought 2 souvenirs back from there. One of them is a poem from Matthew himself, which you probably can't see it. It's written in pencil. And the other is a poem from Tim Sawden, the Lord Mayor of Coventry. He was a bit of a poet himself. It just turned out as it happened. So they're two kind of nice souvenirs I have from there. Suffice to say, both of them are vulgar poems. Matthew's is probably the best one he's ever written, I'd say. I'm going to read my. It's a poem in 3 parts, or 3 poems, whichever way you want to put it. Love poems to Christina Ehan. I watched as you walked in. You were more beautiful than your portrait. I am love, you whispered. I am love. I am love. I am love, you whispered with your eyes. And together we sung harmonies unsung. You, a she fairy whispering with your eyes, and I a wordsmith without a tongue. You left early to catch a red eye and hinted that you might return, but you left a memory scar, and all week long I played with sticks and leaves on your body. 2. Since you left, I dreamt of rats and fish and squadrons of spaceships, in endless numbers, grey and suspended, moving slow and silent, eternally passing, and of you, stretched naked on a beach of damp cobbles beneath dark clouds, and I scrawling love with the mud-tipped stick on your body. 3. Word came that you were out, and like-minded souls joked about my obsession, but it hasn't faded. And you emerge once again to show me your ego, to show me deftness of pen. But I love you not for your poetry. What good is poetry to me? But for your form, and to listen to the alliteration of heart trembles when your name is mentioned, and my mind your portrait conjures. Fine-featured, silken, platinum doll, close-woven fabric of life without curse or stain. But how can I tell for sure from one fleeting glance? Shimmering, silken, lover of the moon. Thanks, Bob.
Brilliant. Thank you, Connor. I'm just wondering if the like-minded souls joking about your obsession, if I'd know any of them, would I?
You would. Yourself being one of them.
I think I might have been one of them, yeah. Because of Christina Ehan. I don't know if any of you know her work. She's absolutely amazing. Estonian poet, perhaps, one of their most famous poet. Her father, in fact, was the national poet for many, many years until he passed away. But she's a very fairy-like, kind of ethereal, very, very beautiful woman. And I remember at the Cork Spring Literary Festival, the Poetry Festival here once, Patrick Cotter asked me, would I mind taking Christina Ehan to lunch, because, she needs someone to take her over to the farm gate to kind of not chaperone her, but just to accompany her, I suppose, And when Connor heard this, he almost fell over backwards. But it's a fantastic love poem, Connor, and I really hope that she gets to read it at some point. You know, maybe we should. I'll give you a copy of the book to send over to her. Maybe, won't I?
I go into hiding.
All right, brilliant. Thanks a million, Connor.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay, so next up, we on the reading list for this evening, and I'm delighted to see her. I haven't seen her for ages. Janet Smith. Hi, Jan. How are you?
Sorry, I'm really unslick about unmuting. I'm great actually, and it's great to see you. And memory, I think it was 2013, and I came with Jane Stanton to Cork, and I'd never been to Cork before, and it was an absolutely brilliant trip. And Paul looked after us really, really well. Jane and I found a session. We both play the fiddle. We didn't dare play the fiddle, but the music was amazing. And I remember going to a stone circle, but the really standout memory was reading in Limerick in a pub in the White House. Is it the White House? Yeah. And after my reading, there was a break, and there was a guy in the back in the bar who wasn't part of the audience who came up to me and said, so I have a poem which has a line that goes, the M1 runs through Sheffield Steel. And he said, I was building that road and I really liked that poem. That's the best compliment I've ever had about a poem. Okay, so I'm going to read this poem, which I don't think I had written when I went to Cork, but it's called 11 Was to Be Other. Learn Latin in a home-sewn skirt. A jumper, one shade too dark for Shakespeare. Write lines by candlelight, the electric's off again. Feel guilty for 3 decades because the official school blazer cost 11 shillings and sixpence. Bear the weight of other girls' giggles. Fall in love with the only boy in scuffed up shoes. Hate blue eyeshadow. Wear it anyway, it's the easiest to steal from the Boots number 7 special display. Cut off all your hair. Wear the high-necked purple satin party dress. Buy some dungarees. Slide easily into Northern Soul.
That's a gorgeous poem. Thanks a million, Janet. Great to see you. Okay, so moving on, we have, is it tonight's 5-word challenge winner? It is Jim Quickard.
Thanks, Paul, and thanks for voting for me for the 5 words. So I went in 2020 with Molly Toomey, and of course something happened. Someone caught the flu from a bat or something like that, and I think we all know the rest after that. But I think we really made the most out of it. Like online, we had a meeting with the Lord Mayor, and it was a woman, I forget her name, but she was telling us about like how she went to Cork, and the B&B she was staying in, they had porridge and Bailey's was poured into it. So she was saying you could cure your hangover and get started for the day as well. And it was just, I don't know, she's pretty funny. And as well, after the gigs, like online, we kind of hung out for a while afterwards. And yeah, I felt like we made some connections, and you know, it was very similar to being at O'Vale, like hanging out after and talking about writing and all sorts of things. And Lucas, there we are. So yeah, it was a really good time. I will just get on with my poem now. It's called Sex in the Housing Crisis. We are the generation of born-again virgins. Headboards disturb housemates on shift work. Air traffic controllers should be included in the rent to coordinate times to get the ride. Landlords can afford to support our sex lives and change the carpets once in a while. We are the generation of born-again virgins. Like ships in the night, we work to survive, but we are no 30-year-old cargo boats anchored in the harbour, waiting for labour. We are red-hot speedboats with miles to go before we sleep. Miles to go before we sleep. We are the generation of born-again virgins. Nothing kills the mood like mildew. HomeSense is built on the backs of millennials, fumigating probate houses, converted into one-beds, with constellations of mold, and half their salary paid to make out on an old couch facing a microwave. We are the generation of born-again virgins. If you're living with parents, you can forget it, unless you can face breaking their trust or condoms clogging the toilet drain. We must not forget about our parents' sex lives, afraid their carefully considered bed springs will be heard by their 30-somethings. So let's give the government hell for this intergenerational dry spell. Thank you.
That's a great poem, Jim. Absolutely. Let's give him hell. You're dead right. That's a superb poem. You might do sex during the pandemic, part of a series, you know?
2 feet distance, or no, 2 meter distance.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. Next up, we have Julie Fields. And what's your own? Julie Akara?
Yep. Hello. I'm coming to you from the northwest coast of Ireland. So the phone reception isn't brilliant, but it's so lovely to see people and to kind of get that Coventry link. Again, that feeling is nice. I think I was there in 2015. I possibly have the year wrong. I was there with Rab. Lovely to get time to hang out with him, and it was my first kind of journey or trip as a poet. So it really consolidated my identity and my, I suppose, confidence in writing as a poet. So that was fantastic, very grateful. One memory I just popped into my head a minute ago was one of the readings we did. I think it was in Liverpool, actually. We went up to Liverpool as well. But one of my poems got a nice reaction from a young fella. It's called Feminism. And it's about recognizing the work and love we get from women in our lives. And after my reading, he came up to me and said, when I go home, I'm going to tell my mom I love her. So I said, my work is done here. So that's my memory. My poem in the book is called Dear Society. I'm a bit nervous. I haven't read it or performed it in a very long time, and I'm not going to read it because I never read it in my life, so I'll see if I can remember it. Apologies, my computer's a bit noisy as well. So the poem involves a very posh, dodgy English accent. So we'll see how that goes, and it involves a glass of wine, so sworn to you up. Dear Society, I am a Homo sapien. I am attracted to other homos, Homo sapiens. I am a member of the LGBTQSTUVWXYZ community, a group of people in society segregated via sexuality. I am not queer, I am here, and I am me. And if my honesty offends your inability to accept that I am free to love the essence of femininity, but I do not apologize. For beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, and I will hold her. Her curves have been molded to fit the pieces of my life, Society, which you have jigsawed apart. We fit together like art, but our love is no exhibition to be stared at. And if you are to say to me that God made man and woman to make child, will I respect your right to be so black and white, but I am grey. I also pray that one day you may awake to see that black and white blends to make me. I am exhausted, Society, from trying to suit you. My spine aches contortionist pains from trying to fit into this closet, from which I emerged terrified, alone, back into my family home to sit my elders down and reveal to them what felt like bad news. And why should I, society, come crawling to you to accept me, when it is you who should come crawling in apology for building that closet and forcing me in it? In it? Why is it you accept men to hold guns, but not hands? Sláinte águr, míle maith.
Fabulous, Julie. Thanks a million. It's great to hear that poem again. It's so much nicer watching you read it, though, because your whole body reads it. You know, you're a performer, you know, a real performer. So we're looking forward to seeing that happen again. Thank you. Okay, next up we have, I think, coming to us from Iceland, Kathy Darcy.
Hi.
Hey, Kathy.
Can you hear me?
We can indeed. How are you?
Hi from Iceland. Forgive me, everyone, for hopping on and then straight off again. I'm autistic and I can't do meetings like this a lot of the time, but I'm really happy to be here, and I want to echo the thanks to Paul and Rafe and the Lord Mayor for organising this, and to say as well, like, Ovale has been the organisation that has helped me the most as a poet times a bazillion million, so just thank you for that, and thank you for everything you guys do. And also to point out that Bangardas are not Bangardas anymore. They are all Gardaí now, and we don't discriminate by gender in the Gardaí. Just an important point. So yeah, I'm in Iceland, but I wanted to let you guys know I haven't forgotten Cork, so I just want to show you my Beamish and my Barry's tea. I hope you guys will bear with me. I still love Cork. Cork is still the best independent republic in the world. I don't remember when I went to Coventry. It was a long time ago. I think it was one of the first. I remember that Cal Doyle was there. And the thing I remember the most about it was touring the old cathedral that had been left exactly as it had been left after the bombings. Just this beautiful kind of husk of stone. And inside it, this cross that somebody had made out of two blackened beams of wood. And you guys who know me will know that I'm not a fan of the cross, but what a monument to getting up again when it feels impossible to get up again. And I was glad to see it, and I'm glad to be remembering it now, to be honest. The poem I'm going to read is from a big long piece that I wrote to reimagine the origin story of Ireland, because I feel like I'm trying not to curse, but Ireland's origin story is very a pile of patriarchal bull crap. And I wanted to rewrite it so that there'd be more women's voices and women's experiences in it. So this poem is from the kind of emergence piece, but it has developed a new significance recently because myself and a bunch of other activists have united across Ireland to fight sexual harassment and abuses of power in the Irish arts. And we're called Safe Arts of Ireland. If you guys want to get involved, that's my political rant for the evening. Here's the poem. Unbecoming mud. Soft, sticky matter resulting from the mixing of earth and water, information or allegations regarded as scandalous. What is eaten emerges at length on the surface, becomes a creeping softness, a flaking away where sea meets land, a place that is neither, endlessly eaten, crunched and spat out again, no man's land, there nor not. With each swallow, I am softer, take form in the slow sink gulp of a lugworm's hole, as a thing neither water nor land, neither formed nor not, taking sometimes the form that surrounds me. Lying for a while on the surface, you take the form of what surrounds you, having form or not, taking sometimes what is neither water nor land, nor either the slow sink gulp of a lugworm's hole. With each swallow you are softer, take form in no man's land, neither there nor not, endlessly eaten, crunched and spat out again, where sea meets land, a place that is neither, a creeping softness, a flaking away. The surface becomes what is eaten, emerges at last. Thank you.
Fantastic. And thank you, Kathy. It's great to see you. And I hope all is well in Iceland. And we hope to see more of you. And thanks a million for that. Okay. Okay, we've just got 3 readers left in the main section this evening, and then we'll move on to the open mic. And next, I'm looking very forward to hearing from Martin Brown, who I haven't seen in years as well. Hey, Martin.
Hi there, Paul. Great to see you again. Yeah,
likewise.
I looked on the website. It was 2013 when I came over with Sarah James and Tom Wyer. And you say favourite memories. Well, it's just unbelievable. There was so much packed in. Do you remember trespassing on the golf course for the rich people in Kinsale?
Oh, you're not supposed to say that, Martin. Of course I do. I know. We pulled a bit of a stunt. We phoned up the restaurant, wasn't it? We said, we'd like to come and look at your menu. And they let us through the gate to go and see their menu. But we only had a drink, we didn't eat. And then we got to roam around. There's some ancient structures on the head of Kinsale that we were exploring anyway. It's a good memory. Thanks, Martin.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much, and the Hayloft and White House, great poetry nights, and Loch Gur, Spike Island. Yeah, I looked on the website. It's all there in my 57 lines of doggerel. That jogged me memory. So if people want to know what I've done, look at that. Yeah, it was a great time, and still fond memories. Thanks a lot. Anyway, here's the poem that's in the book. I'm thinking. The old people in the trees. I have a feeling I'll be joining them one of these days. But here goes. I see one, shouts my son excitedly. And me, joins in his little sister. My eyes, no longer so sharp, keep to the road. We're in that part of the country where old people climb trees. No one knows why, least of all them. If they even recall what they've done, it's with puzzled wistfulness rather than reasoned recollection. The authorities gave up on prevention long ago, preferring now to market the phenomena as a unique tourist attraction. Falls or injuries are rare. People appreciate their limits, choosing smaller trees or lower branches, but always ones with a decent outlook. Younger people used to grin before admiring, then wondering if they will ever join them. The guidebook tells us that it's usually the over 70s that latent agilities or ladders assist each climber, and that people generally descend unscathed after an hour or two, as if nothing had happened. In the evening, we go for a walk in the woods. The children spot several old climbers, try to speak to them. Why are you up there? My son demands of one smartly dressed old gentleman, who glances down, then shrugs, before resuming his gaze outwards, as if being summoned by his own private skyline.
Thank you, Martin. And great to hear from you.
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks.
Okay, we've just got 2 readers left now from the book for this evening. And remember that the second part of the launch is on Thursday week, hosted by Here Comes Everyone and Rafe Boylan, who is our next reader this evening. Funnily, I've pretty much met all of the Coventry poets in the book, except for Asar and Rafe, who came over 2 years ago when a number of us were over in a festival in Galicia. And I think we're possibly all here this evening who were at that festival, but it just couldn't be avoided. I mean, if you were invited to a festival in Galicia, you couldn't really say no, but we were upset to have missed meeting you in person, but it is great to see you both here this evening. I just want to thank Rafe again personally for all his great work on the Coventry side. It takes quite a bit of back and forth to keep this going every year, and there's no better man than Rafe Boylan. So please welcome Rafe.
Cheers for that, Paul. Yeah, I was going to say the same about you. Yeah, it's a shame that we've never met, but I feel like we have, because we've done that much talking back and forth about trying to organise it every year, and definitely for this. And yeah, you've definitely carried this project. I did a bit, but it was mostly you. That's why it looks so good and why it is so good. So thanks so much for helping us actually make it a reality. So yeah, I came over in 2019. Like Martin said, there's so much packed in that the whole thing is like an amazing memory to me. It was the best trip that's yeah, one of the best trips I've ever been on. But for me, I hadn't been abroad in about 15 years, so it was like the first time I'd gone anywhere. And then I was like, oh, this turned out okay. I really like this. I'll be doing some more of this next year. But obviously next year was 2020, and now we're in 2021, and there's not been a lot of traveling abroad. So I haven't built on my skills yet, but I'm hoping to one day. I think the weirdest memory is like when I told people I was coming over to Cork in Ireland, everyone said, oh, you've got to go to the English market when you go there. And I was, I'm going to Ireland. Why are you telling me to go to an English market? And I deliberately didn't Google it because I thought if they take us to it, I'll be surprised. I'll find out what it is. But yeah, it was really nice. And it wasn't what I thought. I was very, very confused. Definitely an Irish thing, but yeah, nice. Yeah, big thank you to Ben and Shona and Stanley who looked after us when we came over. It was great time. So I'll read my thing. Really boringly, I actually wrote my poem about Cork. So it's called First Visit to Cork. Imagine a soundtrack of poetry. Friendly, cheer up, crossing lights, cheer up to pedestrians, traffic, each other through the cheer up night, like equipment supporting life. Warm introductions, the crack as Tullamore Dew meets ice, meets coffee, meets lips. Poetry. My foreign feet that beat the street a little faster, livelier, powered by buskers' multicultural concerts on every walkway corner. Poetry. The most talented of talkers, a people unafraid of passion, politics, laughter, literature, poetry. Rhythmic swigs of the Beamish, the Murphys, river flow conducted, tacit ghosts of boats, the merchant ships of Ireland's Venice, glide down residential roads. Poetry. Milder front cacophony as clumsy Englishman orders a Guinness, bashful sips, comedic quips, clink of glasses, poetry. A whole city brimming with potential, with poetry, poetry, poetry. Did I mention the poetry? It bridges nations, arcs across the Irish Sea, an enduring chorus. The twin voices of two cities intertwined. Every year, turning up, tuning up the words. Cheers.
That's magic. Thank you, Rafe. That's a fantastic poem, and it's a great tribute actually to the exchange. You know, that's one we might try and do something more with maybe, because it really speaks to the relationship. So yeah, thank you. Thanks, Rafe. Okay, so we have I see this. There are people dancing in the background of certain guests. That's great. All very entertaining, Jules. Don't worry about it. Okay, so we have one reader left for this evening, Shauna Lee Lynch. Hey, Shauna.
Hello. I'm delighted to be included in this book because it's a really great project, the Twin City Exchange. Going to Coventry was class. There was loads of really great things. Ace there and Rafe were brilliant tour guides and brought us around. We got to go to radio stations, and the readings themselves were brilliant. My favourite thing was probably the reading in the big comfy bookshop. It's a really lovely bookshop with the secondhand books, and it just feels so cozy in there. And the readings were in there, and it was a great experience. And also we saw squirrels that I talk about a lot because they ate nuts out of Ben's hand, and that was a great sight to see. Yeah, so the poem that I'm going to read is called Meditation, and I wrote it last year because I got into an astronomy during the pandemic, and it's kind of about that. Sometimes I sit real still, close my eyes and see galaxies within. On each breath, the planets rotate as I float through the cosmos in a meditative state. Body filled with stars, luminous spirals sparkle through my veins, merging with the Milky Way. I sway through constellations. Detached from the mundane, I escape in space and gain perspective. I am a pulse in an infinite universe, a part of something bigger. But then the doorbell rings. I return to Earth and hide from the TV license inspector. Thanks.
That is great. Thank you, Shauna. Actually, that's the shortest poem I know of yours. I know all the others were actually too long to go into the book. I was delighted that you had that one, you know. But, you know, when I think of you in Coventry, what immediately comes to mind is that you were going to come back to Cork, and then you were told, no, you need to go to Dublin to perform in the All-Ireland Poetry Slam competition. And so you diverted your flight, landed in Dublin, went straight to the competition and won and became the All-Ireland Slam champion. And
I think performing in Coventry had a lot to do with that. Like the 2 nights before, it was like great experience. The great, got any nerves I had out or whatever. Yeah. And I was weak for myself then flying in from another gig going to the slam. So I can attribute a lot to the experience.
That's great, and that's just such a great story. And you're still the reigning Irish slam champion, because we haven't had any slams in the last 2 years. So well, good for you, the longest ever reigning slam champion of Ireland. So congrats on that. So listen, thank you everyone who read this evening. I'm really getting more and more in love with this book. Actually, the more especially being able to hear you read the poems, and for your voices to come back, and for me to rediscover the rhythms and uniquenesses of all your own poetries. So it's really a treat for me, I must say. So thank you very much for being involved. And just once again, thank you to the Lord Mayor for launching this book. That's an absolute treat as well. So just to say that you can look back at the history of the different exchanges. Like on each occasion, the poets involved wrote reviews of their experiences and took photos, and we compiled all those into a history of exchanges on our website. I've just posted the link there. Twin Cities Exchanges. It's one of the pages on our website. So if you ever want to revisit that, it's a really good read. There's loads of MP3s and poems, and it's a real mix of multimedia poetry and experiences from both sides. So it's just great that we have a record of that. And I think in a way it's done us good to have this little break from a physical exchange, because without it we wouldn't really have had the opportunity to put this book together and to really consolidate all that we've done in the last 14 years. So it's kind of been a bit of a silver lining, really, this book. So it's well and truly launched now anyway, and we're really looking forward to part 2, which Rafe will be hosting in about 10 days time from now. So whoever can make that, please do. And we'll be sending out the link on Wednesday, I think, this week to that. Okay. All right, let's move on to part 3 of Avail, and that is the open mic session. So anyone who'd like to read a poem on the open mic, and you're all welcome, whether you've read or not, we would love to hear from you. So if you'd like to read on the open mic, I have 1 or 2 names already. Please pop your name into the chat box, open mic, and your name, and then I will make sure to call you in order, probably as. Good night, Jen. This is Jen Matthews. I should have said hi to Jen. It's great to see you. Jen, of course, is involved in the very, very first exchange, going way back in 2008, and I think 2009 as well. There were 2 of them you were involved in, as far as I remember. Yeah, that's right. When you were really, really involved in Avail at that point. Motherhood has taken you north and into various other realms, but your writing certainly hasn't stopped. It hasn't. Your poetry is still going, which is great to see. But it's great to see you, Jen. All right, take care. Okay, so let me just go back. I don't want to miss anyone on this open mic list. Okay, we're going to start off with Mary O'Connell. Are you there, Mary?
I am, yes. Thank you, Paul.
Hi, how are you? You're very welcome.
Not too bad. So I've really enjoyed listening to all those lovely people whom I used to know and still enjoy. This is called Hold Your Horses. For ancients, self-control was held in high esteem, notably the Stoics, who seemed to be serene when faced with major crises, never at a loss. A simple analogy gets their point across. Take a carriage and horses, no doubt 2 will do. Make sure the coachman has an unimpeded view. The carriage represents the body of a man. In those days, females didn't figure in their plan. Horses, the emotions, powerful and dangerous. The coachman, trying to make the ride okay for us, stands for the intellect and knows what's to be done. But inside sits the master, who is the only one who really calls the shots. He represents the will, makes his presence felt. Though he might not know the drill, the coachman may protest and tell him to hold tight, explain about those potholes hidden out of sight, but a pig-headed master can do what he likes, even order his coachman to double his strikes on the perspiring horses and make them obey. His impatience won't tolerate any delay. The will can lord it over both body and heart, assuming the intellect can play its part. But clarity can fade if feelings twist the gut, make the body so lost it sinks into a rut. Let's say a wayward horse stampedes into a ditch, throws the master sideways into a violent pitch. Yelling at his coachman won't help in any way. It just shows that the will has a limited sway. The analogy shows it can still fit the bill if the will and the mind work in harmony still. And when fractious emotions don't torment the flesh, we may see self-sufficiency triumph afresh. Philosophers have faults, but if we scan his quips, Marcus Aurelius could give us a few tips. To do the decent thing, no matter what the cost, see the bigger picture, not dwell in what's been lost. All this presupposes that basic needs are met, and we've made no commitments that we might regret. While the heedless continue freewheeling through life, free will, used judiciously, can mitigate strife. That's it.
Thank you, Mary. Thanks for that. And next up, we have Matt Mooney.
Okay, I have a poem called Cuchullin's Sons for you. It's a hurling poem. Not sure what other kind of poem would I read tonight after a great day's outing yesterday by Cork, who played their way into this year's All-Ireland final against Kilkenny yesterday. So good luck to Cork. But this is my choice for them. Cuchullin's Sons. In the annals of Cuchullin's sons appear the names of our ancestors, time of landly, landlords and evictions, when our Gaelic games were spawned, while we waited for the dawn of freedom, floating on a tide of national pride from the 19th to the 20th century. Barefoot players on pitches improvised, tournaments and marching bands of brass and reed and fife and drum. The baronies hurling the troubled years away with commands shaped like cormogues, the flying sliotar a harbinger of peace, sending shivers down the spine of time, raising up our ancient race to feed again our rightful nationhood. Running on this fever in the blood, leaving to posterity dexterity and style, present on the field of play today in the genes of great-grandchildren, accurate as them in every game, in their aim from centre field or sideline cut. And we cheer them from the stands, for they are Cuchullin's youngest sons. Thank you.
That's a great poem. Thank you, Matt. Very fitting, absolutely.
Thank you.
For our Coventry guests who don't know, and for our American guests, etc., overseas from other countries, Cork beat their age-old rivals yesterday, Kilkenny, to get into the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship final. So the whole city is on a high at the moment from that. And if anyone has a few extra tickets to the match, I would love to hear from you, because I know they're like gold. So thank you for that, Matt. Oh yeah, and of course, I mean, if you look at the cover of the book, I mean, a lot of our Coventry guests will probably remember that statue, because that's the statue of Christy Ring on the right there, as you come off the plane and out to the cars. He's kind of right in front of you. Christy Ring, of course, being Cork's most famous hurler. All right, so enough about hurling. It's a poetry session, you say. Let's move on to our next poet, Janet Smith.
Yep. Okay. Wasps. It was August we noticed the wasps, crawling out of cupboards, sagging in cutlery drawers, lying dead on the counter. Wasps drowned in small puddles on sinks and in bathtubs. September, we shook them out of coffee jars. When we opened cans, they shambled sluggish as though drunk on the gin in our closets. October, each dressing was an exercise in caution. Eyes and ears tumbling from cardigans turned out of pockets, sly bumbling stingers in 3s and 4s gathered on light shades, inched out of waste pipes. The summer endured with each slow dying. On our tabletops, yellow stripes losing their power to shock. We barely glance at them now. Each crawl space, each window ledge, its own small place of reverence. The summer is endless now. Wasps limp along, dying slowly in 5s and in 6s in every room. Out on our doorsteps, they are keeling over, like young girls in stations, under doorways, up stairwells, and still the harvesting is not over. Sorry to be so cheerful.
Superb. Thank you, Janet. Certainly a poem for our times.
Actually written before the pandemic hit, just before.
Prophetic. Thank you. Next up, we have Jeff Cottrell. Hey, Jeff.
Hello. All right, this is called Sympatica Books, Inc. Dear Mr. Orwell, thank you very much for your interest in Sympatica Books, Inc. We have reviewed your submitted manuscript, The Animal Farm. and we have decided, regrettably, that it is not the right fit for our lineup. Although your novella is well written and has a few interesting ideas, we feel that it also has some serious issues and needs a lot of work. Our main problem with your manuscript is the characters, specifically that none of them is very likable. There isn't a single one a reader can root for. We feel strongly that main characters in fiction must always be likable and never have any flaws or do anything the reader might disagree with. Most of the pigs in Animals Farm are so nasty and power obsessed, and they do many cruel things to the other animals. They kill them, they lie to them and manipulate them. They betray them. How is a person supposed to relate to that kind of behavior? Nobody's like that in real life. And even the animals who are victims of the abuse, you don't feel much for them either, Mr. Orwells. They don't fight back or try to win the day. They just take all the oppression passively. That's so depressing. A reader needs to cheer somebody on to be a hero, but your book doesn't deliver that. Our other big issue with your manuscript is the story itself, that it's just so unbelievable and unrealistic. A group of farm animals drive the owner away and take over the farm? A little far-fetched, Mr. Wells. A little hard to imagine. Animals can get a little rambunctious now and then, but they could never take over a whole farm like that. And even if they did, it's hard to believe they would run the farm so poorly. There's so much corruption among the pigs that the whole thing turns into a virtual dictatorship. I don't think that could happen even with human beings, let alone with animals. You're not giving the reader much credit. Our team at Simpatica Books, Inc. is confused about your goals for animal farms. It's too violent and intense for a children's book, and it's too dark and pessimistic for a fantasy. We can't imagine what kind of demographic you're aiming for, or why anyone would want to spend their free time with these characters. But I have some good news. Our focus group of beta readers has come up with some constructive suggestions that may help you improve your book. First, instead of all those mean pigs, why not have one really nice pig? And give the nice pig a friend or two. I think it's sad that you never gave the animals any good friendships, but I bet the reader would love to see one. Maybe the nice pig has a cute little spider friend who weaves nice messages about the pig in her web, and that sends the pig on some fun adventures. Don't you think that would make a good kid's book? I think so. And maybe the nice pig learns how to herd sheep, and he goes on to win a sheep herding competition. That would send an uplifting message about believing in yourself. Another issue? Our beta readers don't like the catchphrase you gave to Boxer the horse. I will work harder. Nobody's ever going to quote that. We came up with a better catchphrase. A horse is a horse, of course, of course. See, now that's catchy and fun. That's what a reader wants. The point I'm trying to make, after the years pass and we're all rotting in the ground, the generations after us will remember only one thing about our literature. It's marketability. Please keep working hard at your writing, and maybe someday you'll get a lot better at it and write something worth publishing, Mr. Orson. Something with a fun plot and a likable hero. Like that nice Nancy Drew. Now she's a plucky little one. Why don't you give us a character like that? That would be swell. Sincerely, Simpatica Books, Inc. Books for people who don't want a challenge. So that's neat.
That's a fabulous poem. Thank you. Thanks, Jeff. Super satire. Unfortunately, I imagine Simpatico is still going.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. I'm running into a bunch of them trying to get my book out there.
Thanks for that. Okay, next up we have Ray Hanrahan.
Okay, you can all hear me, I hope. Okay, very good. Okay, the poem I have tonight now is one that I was exploring, I suppose, rhythm and stress in I suppose, the poems I write. And I wrote this as an exercise off the back of reading the Wikipedia article on scansion. So I hope you like it. And I hope people don't take it as some kind of epitaph, even though it kind of structures like one. So don't worry, I still plan to be around for a while. It's called Written Word. What is my art? Written word, my desultory avocation. Am I a fool on the gloaming's ground, searching for affirmation? What I have to hand, I dare to wield, I do not know how well. So tell me you, whose eyes read here, the verdict, good or ill.
Great stuff. Thank you. Thanks, Ray. And great to see you again. Hopefully we'll see more of you.
Oh, yeah, depending on productivity.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we have Catherine Ronan. Hey, Catherine.
Hi, Paul. Hi, everyone. My poem is called Insomnia. I leave you in dawn moon, no questions, universe to yourself, 9 cycles of life, tissue in your pocket. I am beyond sleep, painted caves, tattoos and jam, silent thunder, jellyfish truth. Captured childhood in salty buckets. Our brothers are dead, but we still see them, open-eyed attic of stars.
Lovely poem. Thank you, Catherine. For those of you who'd like to hear more, Catherine, again, this is plug number 4, I think. Bonus plug. Catherine will be reading on Thursday night. I believe it's 8 o'clock, not 8:30. It was my mistake. That's Lime Square Poets. You can look them up on Facebook, and you can find the link via their website. So best of luck with that reading, Catherine.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, and next up, onto the open mic, all the way from Argentina. It's great to see her again, Melissa Marinho. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, hey everyone. How are you? I'm sorry I joined you so late, but I just finished working, so this is the best I can do. Thanks for having me. I will read a poem. I'm working on the translations of some of the poems from my third published book, which is a tribute to Elizabeth Short, sadly known as the Black Dahlia. I don't know if you know her story. She was murdered a long time ago. So this poem is Elizabeth Short. I was born in Massachusetts one summer's day. I was the third of 5 daughters. The Great Depression of 29 ruined Daddy. It gave him the push to live. He abandoned us. 1 year later, he left his car on the Charlestown Bridge and jumped. Police said, probably suicide. His body wasn't found. He just faded like the side stream smoke from a cigarette put out by a shoe on the sidewalk. A cigarette put out by a father. Did I cry for Daddy? I don't know. I was barely 5 when he left us. His silent death as a gift, a weird joke. Daddy returned from death a few years back. Mom didn't want to see him again. I did. You don't bury your dead twice. I left home to look for him, to find my glow in California. I wanted to shine. Where were you my whole life? Such a brief life together. I left. Did you cry for me? Being so close and not coming to your little Betty's funeral? Who else could identify my body but you, whose hands and sex had made me? What did you make of me? I've walked the streets so long, darling, I've sought the kindness of men, those unknown who stare and offer me their arm, money. I have spent days of hunger. It's hurting my ankles. There's a segment missing from my hip. Remember those dahlias I fastened to my hair with ebony barrettes? Wasn't I gorgeous in your eyes back then? What would have happened if that airplane hadn't fallen down with you, with me after all, if we had gotten married one afternoon under an arc of wisteria? How can it hurt this much? Why can't it end? His eyes weighed on me. You might well remember the fright locked in my smeared green, the torment nailed to my face, but it's not mine. It is not God's work, that terrible grimmick, forcibly torn away from me. It is not mine. That is the smile of my killer. He's still laughing in my face. Do not leave me thrown into oblivion. The archives are dying, and I die again with them every time. Have you seen my body? Have you actually seen me? My name is Elizabeth Short. Thanks.
It's a fabulous elegy, Melissa. Thank you so much for that, and for bringing Elizabeth Short to our attention. I didn't know about her at all. The Black Dahlia. It's a very sad story, but very beautiful elegy. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on now to our next open mic reader, all the way from Coventry, Martin Brown.
Thanks again, Paul. I think this lightened the mood a bit. I mean, hard one to follow that. But, there's just aren't enough poems about domestic appliances, and this is one of my attempts to rectify that. This is called My Washing Machine Dream. In my washing machine dream, I came up clean. I crept in dull and dirty, but clambered out pristine. For I was a filthy miscreant, but water, whoosh and soap allowed me back into the world, whiter than a pope. When others saw my aura, all bright and shiny clean, they joined the growing clamour to use my washing machine. Oh, let us be as bright as you, they begged of me en masse. So I crammed them in, pressed extra spin, and watched them through the glass. Like underwater angels, they tumbled round and round, and when the cycle finished, every one had drowned. I hauled them out and hung them out upon my washing line. They flapped and fluttered in the breeze, which made them look just fine. But each had died, and when they dried, I folded them with love and placed them in my laundry bin, safely stored above my washing machine, which I unplugged and firmly shut the door. Now others slump in mucky clumps across my laundry floor. I warn them off, but that won't stop them wanting to be clean, in case they're seen within this dream about my washing machine.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thanks, Martin. I've got a serious vision of a washing machine turning around in my head right now, and all the rhythms that come with that. It's a perfect subject for a poem, and very, very uplifting. Thank you. Okay, we will move on now to, we've got just 3 readers left, unless anyone else would like to sign up. Next is Kemi George Simpson. Hi, Kemi.
Hi, my internet's not great.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
In the Winter Festival, I was inspired by Tonga Essen Martin, just it reminded me I come from quite a mixed background, and so the estate that I was partly brought up in, it was quite a difficult place. And so I just wrote this poem and it's quite a personal poem, but I'll read it anyway. So it's called The Graveyard. So, there was no landscape piece, no hearse or obvious mourning, no reminiscing headstones, though misery reeks and horror tales pave. Like unraveled ancient Egyptian aristocracy, wreaking vengeance on reggae melody, your auntie was in the precinct, bumping and grinding her ghosts, rum-cured out of body, embodied in her leotard, singing. The sober too weary to look, shame coloured so many eyes, her raucous catharsis, no surprise. Menacing desperation tuned and scented the air, urinating entrepreneurs, territorially marked apartment block stairs, drumming up business with soft whispers, hush, hush, hush. Hippie and yuppie tires sound the same as they purchase, young black males subjugated by free enterprise, avail recreational oppressions to others, never owning the means of production, so they are hunted. Police, prison, probation. Police, prison, probation. Youth merry-go-round institutions, psychiatric and penal carousels beat rhythms of slow extinction. A danger, a section, medication. A danger, a section, medication. Bewildering, stagnating, addicting. Bewildering, stagnating, addicting. Hoodwinked neighbours shuffle to similar rhythms. Hooked to the beats, hooked to the meds, hooked to the streets. The council estate bleeds. Paratropic setups feed. The assimilating, slowly dying. Cruel beats, weary. Blocked opportunities, weary. Desperation, wearies. Weary goes septic, turns full-blown psychotic. Psychotic throttles hope and drags her through concrete. They are trying to kill me. Ligactyl calms. Palliative care for the community hospice. White-coated diagnosis coffins, laying us down to rest, exterminating the undead. Here, we are perfectly placed to disappear.
Thank you, Kemi. That is a very fine poem. It's got gorgeous rhythms to it, and it packs a political punch, you know. Yeah, you're definitely on the right track with that. Fantastic work, really. Congratulations. Okay, we just have three more readers left, unless we have more signing up. Next we have Massimo Lavelle.
My apologies before you get on to your next reader. I must go. I have children to put to bed, and they're way past their bedtime.
I'm sorry, Lord Mayor. I should have said to you ages ago, you can leave whenever you like. I hope we haven't kept you here.
Not at all. It's been very interesting to listen to you. Thank you very much to every single one of you. And I'm delighted to launch it this evening. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks very much. Ikowa.
Ikowa. God bless. Bye-bye.
All right, superb. Massimo, you're up.
Hey, thanks for having me. Always an honor to be here, and I always enjoy all the beautiful poetry that you all share. So thank you. So this piece, I know how late it is there, so I'll try to say this piece quickly so it doesn't go on too long. But yeah, thank you. Always thank you for having me. So, my love is a wall that surrounds me, where no one in this world knows about me. I see the world, but it can't see without me, by the same grace that my blindness allows me. Like a child, I just want to sleep soundly and leave all my dreams where they found me, where the mares of the night cannot hound me, and sheep that I count in my sleep cannot count me. As I pray quietly and cry loudly, as I cry quietly and pain proudly, as I laugh openly in life's bounty, as I think deeply and grow roundly. I reach toward the skies, but they cloud me. I even fall to the ground, but it grounds me. I look for myself, it surrounds me. So I love in this house so that love may come house me. But I still remember when I never knew anything, a pure mirror resembling a new world I had entered in. But my days keep on lengthening. Their space and their time keep on measuring. I retrace my steps for the referencing, if the beginning is where the end's resting in. My life's not a flaw that needs fixing. It's more like a lock with a key that needs fitting. Or maybe a puzzle, a piece that needs fitting, or a piece that seems missing. But really just a man who needs love right now to keep living. Sometimes I feel so sad, but the heavens and the earth still stand, which maybe doesn't seem so bad when viewed in a scheme so grand. Like sunlight and blue sky clad, gives life but gives no command. And by the same grace I am glad that I am covered but do not understand. Innocence, innocence, not just ignorance, there's a big difference. Innocence, when I accept it, I am it, but soon as I think it, it isn't. Everything big began little. What is complex once began is so simple. The size of a child may double, then triple, but they first began in the eye as a twinkle. 1 trillion years for one riddle, to count all the atoms inside of a thimble. Yet worlds that we know and we love could be crippled if one single atom should break in the middle. The force of creation is so great that without grace, it might fall from its own weight. The path of true knowledge is so straight that without love, it's as good as a closed gate. The path of true wisdom is so straight that without love, it's as good as a stone slate. The force of our spirit is so great that without our mistakes, excuse me, we might die from our pure state. But look, I am not any more pure than the warmth of a horse's manure. But even manure plus a seed and a spore can grow a whole garden that reaches your door. But my garden is doorless, windowless, but with walls like a fortress. Castles are guarded by soldiers with torches, while even the poor sleep with dogs on their porches. But no need for dogs where no door is. My line is secure because it's cordless. But I feel a certain unsureness that maybe I'm not as secure as my fort is. Yeah, sure, my garden is gorgeous, but just defending it takes more importance. My mind turns my fears into forces till soon I am fighting with foes who are formless. Just to protect what is precious, I block all the entrances, even the exits. Now I'm left with no entrance or exits. It's like my defensiveness left me defenseless. But maybe we need our defenses, just like a garden needs fences. But maybe the strength of a fence is only how precious the thing it protects is. For the sake of my beauty, actually, for the sake of your beauty, I paint myself ugly so you cannot view me. Because I'm worried that you will accuse me of looking much better than who I am truly. But for the sake of my beauty, I paint myself pretty so maybe you'll choose me. Hoping though looks might elude me, it was by the garden inside that you knew me. Thank you all so much. Peace.
Massimo, I think you've blown everyone away once again. Honestly, you're an absolute master, and it's just really, really beautiful to hear such well-crafted work and such meaningful work, you know. But it's on all levels. It's got the lyric, it's got the rhythm, it's got the wisdom, it's got, you know, a lot of thought in there, and just gorgeous, really, really gorgeous work. So thank you. Great to see you. Thanks, Massimo. Okay, we still have a few. I've seen we've had another sign up. That's great. Next up, we have Sue Blue.
Well, how to follow that up? Jesus, Massimo, you're a star. I have two poems in front of me, one very short and one that celebrates Cork. I think it fits the night. So the first one is actually called Twin, and I've only just finished it. It's for my new kitten that you might have seen cross the screen in between. She's a twin. And so this is the poem about her, or for her actually, written to her. Twin. You sit in meditation, back turned to me, the mirror in front of you still. Big eyes in wonder as you silently speak to your reflected other. Where are you, sis? How can I get through to you now? You claw into the nothingness behind the screen, missing your twin, your big eyes wandering in meditation. Your quiet question receives no answer from the silent screen. So if I may do Lights Along the Lee, Paul, is that okay with you? Brilliant. So just to celebrate Cork for the night that's in it, I've never been part of the Coventry Exchange yet, maybe to say, I don't know, whatever happens along the way. Yeah, I do celebrate Cork a lot in my poetry, and this is Lights Along the Lee. The dark cover of night envelops the city lights. I stop to watch the spiders in their magic webs, glittering against the street lamps between the steel bars of the banister along the bridge. The River Lee lies still, only a quiver reveals the mirage on the water. Mirror of a grown, age-old town, disguised in modern buildings and neon lights. Along the low concrete quay wall, I like to pause and lean over the rounded crown, admiring the river, this keeper of time. Its timeless reflection trembling in the slightest wind, ripples in the black silver surface. A film strip recording the pulse of Cork life. The Lee not too long or too broad, with quays not too high nor too low, not too long to walk, and the nights alive with culture's beating heart. Looking back along this black silver band, reflecting the city night, it feels a little bit like Paris. Thanks very much, guys. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, it's Cork is a gift that keeps giving for us in terms of poets. I mean, we are literally drowning in poets over here. We've never struggled to find poets to send to Coventry, and it's a great treat to be able to send poets to Coventry. It's quite the I suppose privilege really to do so. I mean, especially when the majority of poets who you send to Coventry don't know what it means to be sent to Coventry, and you've got to be sent to Coventry to discover what it means to be sent to Coventry. But they've never come back, without having an absolutely great time. So, we plan on sending many, many more, and on welcoming many, many more. So long may it happen. Thank you, Sue. Okay, the penultimate reader, I think. I know Mags is struggling to get back in. She's been coming in and she's really struggling. If she does manage to get in, we'll be able to listen to a piece from Mags, but it looks like our penultimate reader this evening is Cedric Bicond. Cedric?
Yeah. Can you hear me properly? Because I removed the headphones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. So this one is measured response. 2.5, an inch in centimeters, in between grades on the thermometer. 2.5 short of a true arbiter, the almighty God that never was, to watch over the match between man and his twisted nature. 2.5 degrees off the right direction, an experiment thrown off, a future thrown away, in a butterfly effect. Sometimes flapped a pair of lips, somewhere will die 2.5 million. Maybe at one point, 7 was a holy number, but catastrophe arises when, in a bid for grid, hierarchy replaces communion. When 2.5 offer a number to make the census number and condemn all to oblivion.
Superb. Thank you, Cedric. Okay, yeah, once again, we're down to our next penultimate reader. We might have another penultimate reader after that at the moment. And it's actually, I think, my fault, Doc. I didn't see your name in the list. So next up, please, can we welcome Doc Jennings? I think you're still on mute there, Doc. We can't hear you.
My apologies. This is titled Time. Time flows, twists, turns, bends. Its passage inexact, imprecise. Its existence a menage of moments. Moments experienced in intersections, beginnings, endings, as ephemerals, vital, dynamic, shifting, changing, shaped, reshaped, created, destroyed. Moments woven of random, moments of infinity, stretching through the multiverse. Time beyond imagining. Time with no beginning. Time with no end. Time which is and is not. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you very much. And next, and possibly our last reader, not sure yet, Margaret O'Regan.
I'm going to read a poem by Anne MacDonald, and it's from her collection, and it's called Crow's Books, Anne MacDonald. Now, she titles this A Very Zoom Affair, and she says in brackets, for the poet and activist Margaret O'Regan. She said I inspired it. It's very funny, this, because I can't read it without laughing. So, a very Zoom affair. She wished she had thought to put a nicer dress on as she clicked on Zoom. She had taken a YouTube class on how to minimize the glare on your glasses from your laptop. Then read a poem about how she enjoyed being alone, but also loved meeting new people, and how she hated sheeple, and how individuality was her thing. He read about what he had to bring to a new relationship. He took down the Man United poster from the wall of his son's bedroom where he did the calls and replaced it with a print. Then read a poem about still having a spring in his step and a zing in his homemade COVID margaritas. She read in front of her kitchen window with her pots of basil and mint, complimenting the blue of her new top He could not stop reading about when he travelled as a young man and how aging had made him wiser and more open to his feminine side. She told her friends that from what she could see, he was a big ride. She started wearing perfume on the online open mic nights, dimming the lights so that her wrinkles were depleted. He read about how proud he was and how it was the right of everybody, woman or man, to an education. She read about how she loved the grounds of Trinity College in the winter. He read about how he didn't even feel the splinter in his heart now that his partner had moved on, and how he longed for a relationship with a woman of culture. She read about a previous relationship with an energy vulture and how she now embraced the empty nest. He read about how he had used yoga to lay all his demons to rest. She read about shopping online and how not all bullets need guns. He read about using puns to deliver a punch in a poem. She read about nights when she would be alone. He read about being on his own in his king-size bed. She dreamed of his words getting around in her head. He wished to fuck the barbers would open. She read about coping without getting her highlights done and how she was happy to be grey. The day she knew the jig was up was when she wore suspenders on the open mic under her leggings and used her contact lenses to get rid of the glare, when into the view of the screen came her husband's hand wrapped around a cup of coffee, his wedding ring glinting in the sun from the kitchen window. "That's for yourself doing the poetry," the husband said. Her face flushed, fire engine red. She composed herself and read about ships in the night. He read about ships that had just fucking sailed. She wailed loudly off camera that she was only having a bit of fun and wasn't she entitled to just one little bit of the house to herself. He decided not to read at the next open mic, but appeared on the call beside a photo of him, the wife, and a Christmas elf, his copy of Ulysses strategically placed on a hastily erected IKEA shelf. And McDonald's.
That's absolutely brilliant way to end the open mic. Thank you. I think when you come back into a veil, I don't think I'm going to be able to look at you without thinking that you're wearing suspenders under your dress now. Very dangerous.
I don't even possess them, although I might by then.
So thank you so much for that, and congratulations on the dedication there. That's really nice dedication to have, especially for all the great work. It's very, very well deserved. You know.
Thank you.
So yes, that looks like we've come to the end of our evening. It's been absolutely full of just fantastic poetry from beginning to end. It's a really, really special night, this. So I want to thank everyone for participating, for being involved, to everyone who wrote a 5-word poem and read a 5-word poem, and to our winner of the evening, Jim, congratulations. Thank you to everyone who read from Twin Skies. We're thrilled to launch the book. Such great work in there. And once again, you know, there's the free online version. If you want to go and take a look at that, you can do so. It's been funded, I should have said, by Cork City Council and by the Coventry UK City of Culture 2021. So we've been very fortunate to be able to put it together. Thanks to everyone who's been on the open mic this evening. Superb poems. The bar is really high, and I need to thank all our internet audience, our social media audiences from Vimeo, YouTube, and Facebook who've been here watching the evening. Of course, this is reviewable again on all those platforms whenever you feel like it. So shortly I'm going to go over and end the live stream, but I'm going to keep the Zoom session open for any of you who like to to stick around and chat for a little while. For those of you who are exhausted, don't feel you have to, but you're very welcome to. This is what we usually do, is we go around the corner from our physical venue into Maine's Wine Bar, and we stay there until God knows o'clock in the morning. Everyone's Tuesday is absolutely ruined. So we don't have to go that far, but we can kind of, emulate it a little bit. So thanks very much, everyone. All, please give yourself a nice big round of applause. All right, I'm now going to end the live stream. See you shortly.